My name is Jamie Bemis, and I'm a member of Bristol's Sustainability Committee. I'm so excited to be here with you today for the second edition of our monthly sustainability education series called Locally Produced. Each month we'll be covering a different sustainability-related topic that's important for our community. And the way it works is at the beginning of every month, we'll be releasing a short video like this one on a given subject. And at the end of the month, we'll have a public community forum via Zoom where you can join us to learn more, continue the conversation, ask questions, and get more in the weeds. So this month, we're talking about solar energy. So today I'm going to cover what solar is and why it matters, and I hope that you'll then join me later this month for an in-depth conversation where we can talk more and continue the conversation. So with that, let's get started. So first, I just want to cover briefly the two types of solar energy. So when folks say solar, they can mean one of two things. First, they can mean solar thermal. This is a technology that uses sunlight to create hot water using a heat exchanger. So typically what happens is the sun hits an array of glass tubes filled with a working fluid. The working fluid is just a way of transferring thermal energy. So it can be water or it can be something else. Typically it's water with some other type of antifreeze material in it. So the working fluid gets heated by the sun and then is then passed through a heat exchanger into a hot water tank and heats water that way. It's very simple and straightforward. We don't see it that often here in New England though, because often folks have natural gas or oil that they use for domestic hot water here. So we're gonna place that aside for now and focus on the other type of solar energy known as solar photovoltaics. So photovoltaics refer to the panels that you may see when you're driving around. If you see a solar array, it's almost always going to be PV, solar photovoltaics here in New England. And the photovoltaic panels are able to convert energy from the sun into electricity for your home. Solar PV panels are typically composed of various types of metals. They have silicon in them and glass normally. When you look at them, they just look like a flat plane. They're just completely flat, dark colored material, but they act as semiconductors. So you put them on your roof and the sun hits the panels and it produces energy. There are a couple other components that are important to note about solar PV systems. The first is the racking system. So that just refers to how the solar panels are attached to your home. It's important to note solar panels are so flexible. So you can put them on your roof, you can put them on a shed, you can put them in your yard on the ground, you can put them over a parking canopy. The options are almost endless, and the racking system just refers to that structural attachment. Next, there's the inverter. So solar PV panels produce DC electricity or direct current, and in your home you use AC electricity. So we need an inverter to convert the DC electricity into AC electricity. So the energy comes from the panels, flows through the inverter, and you can then use it right in your home. Finally, there's the meter. So that is how the utility company tracks how much energy you're using. Of course, every month you get an electric bill from the utility. When you have a solar PV panel, you also need a meter to track how much you're producing. So the meter tracks that and it's credited on your electric bill every month. And this is how you save energy and cost each month. So there are three main ways that solar can benefit a homeowner and our community here in Bristol. The first is cost savings. So as I mentioned, the solar electricity that your solar PV system produces does two things. One, it can feed all of the electrical loads in your home. So that way you're using solar from your roof and instead of electricity from the grid, and so you're saving energy. The other thing is that it results in cost savings. So all of the energy that you're not using from the grid is energy that you're saving, and you're credited for the electricity that you produce on your bill each month. So cost savings is an important first benefit of solar. The second benefit is that solar is one of the best clean energy technologies that we have available to us to date. It makes a lot of sense here in New England. We do have a lot of sunshine, and it's an important tool in our toolbox as we think about what a clean energy future can look like here in the state of New Hampshire. So I think solar is one of our best bets as a state to be investing in, both as homeowners and also as communities and at the state level as well. It's a proven technology. There are very few moving parts. The systems are extremely low maintenance, and the costs have come down over time. So it's an important way that we can reduce our reliance on fossil fuels as a state. The last benefit that's important to note is resiliency. So solar alone cannot provide backup power, but when solar is combined with batteries, the solar panels can charge batteries, which can then provide your home with electricity in the case of a grid outage. So here in Bristol, we lost power, I think, twice this summer due to storms. I know I lost power once overnight when some trees came down and wiped out the electrical wires, and we had some poles that needed to be repaired. While the utility comes around and fixes the grid, some folks have generators that run on oil or gas, which is great, and they're able to provide power for their homes that way. For those of us who don't have generators or are interested in finding fossil fuel-free ways of providing backup power, solar and storage is a great option. In some cases, it also can be nice to have backup power using solar for, say, a community building, so that in the case of a grid outage, community members could go to the community building and charge their phones or, whatever they need to do using some power. And that's an important way to keep our community safe and connected during a grid outage. So resiliency is a third benefit that we should be considering for sure. If you're interested in considering solar for your home, there are a few different things to keep in mind. First, here in the Northern Hemisphere, the best roofs for solar are going to be those that are facing south. And the reason why is because the angle of the Earth to the sun is such that in the Northern Hemisphere, the sun always comes at us from a bit of a southern angle. The reverse is true in the Southern Hemisphere. So in the Southern Hemisphere, you'd want your panels facing north. And what this does is it allows us to take advantage of eastern sunlight in the morning and western sunlight late in the day, but all the while we're sort of optimizing our angle of exposure to the sun so that we get the most solar power possible. One thing to note on that though is that an eastern facing roof or a western facing roof is totally fine as well. If it's a sunny roof, there's going to be probably great opportunities for solar. But I would be probably a little bit more hesitant if your roof is facing north. And it does need to have lots of sun. So if you have a lot of tall trees around your house or there's lots of shade, it's probably not going to be the best fit for solar. An additional consideration is the size of your roof. So each solar panel, generally they're about 3 feet by 5 feet in size. Depends a little bit on the manufacturer, but essentially 3 by 5. And they all produce a fixed amount of energy, more or less. Again, different manufacturers sometimes are slightly more efficient or slightly less efficient, but in general, the panels typically produce between 250 to 350 or so watts. So in order to get a bigger system, if you have lots of things that need electricity in your home, you need to add a bunch of panels and string them all together. And generally, the economics work slightly better and are a little bit more favorable on larger systems as well. So just to recap, the best roofs are large, sunny, and south-facing. You can do a lot with an eastern-facing roof or a western-facing roof if it's in full sun as well. If you have a northern-facing roof, or if you're in the woods, or if you're a renter, or if you just don't want to do solar for your home right yet, don't worry, there are other things to know about solar and how it can benefit our community as well. And the last two programs I want to talk about are ways you can get involved in solar without doing it on your home. So first, community solar is an important program here in the state of New Hampshire. So some of you may be familiar with community-sponsored agriculture programs where basically at the beginning of every growing season, you pay to be part of the CSA and then each month you receive a share from a farmer of whatever it is that they're producing. So I've been part of vegetable CSAs before. They also have meat CSAs. There's all different types of programs, and you could sign up and pay to participate and receive a share of the benefit. Community solar works exactly the same way. There's a large community solar array installed somewhere, and a bunch of people in the community sign up to be a part of that program, and their contribution helps pay for the system, and then from there on out, they get credited with a portion of that production on their bill every single month. So this is an amazing program and really breaks down some of the barriers to entry for renters and for folks who, say, are in a condo and don't control the decision-making for their roof. So the Plymouth Area Renewable Energy Initiative has excellent resources on community solar, and you can also contact the Sustainability Committee or the Energy Committee to learn more. The last program I wanted to touch on today is municipal solar. So here in Bristol, we have an exciting project going on that is being led by the Energy Committee, and they are planning to put a solar array in on town land on the Pemigewasset River right next to the transfer station, and the power from that solar array is going to be credited to the bills of the town buildings. And this is really important because it's going to save us money as taxpayers here in Bristol, because we'll be spending less on the electricity bills for those buildings every month. So as a community, we're going to save money, but we're also investing in a proven clean energy technology and powering our buildings in part by renewable energy and reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. So this is an incredibly important program, and I hope that it demonstrates how solar can benefit our community, even if it's not on your roof. I think as a community, we can find ways to incorporate it where it makes sense in ways that can improve the resiliency of our community, can save money for taxpayers, and can contribute to a clean energy future for our community and for the state at large. So I hope this talk has been informative and that you've learned a little bit about solar, but there are so many exciting ways to learn more coming up this month. So first, I hope you'll join me on Saturday, October 17th for Bristol's very first Fall Sustainability Fair from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in Kelly Park. We're so excited. The Sustainability Committee is going to be there. The Energy Committee will be there. And we're going to be joined by tons of local organizations and local businesses as well, all talking about sustainability. And we'll be having vendors there talking about zero waste options. We're going to have composting demonstrations, recycling information, and we'll have a lot of information about solar as well. There will also be a solar PV panel there, which you can come take a look at, and you can take some information home with you as well. So that's going to be super fun. Saturday, October 17th. I hope you can be there. The next great opportunity to learn more will be our community conversation on Monday, October 26th. So that will be via Zoom, and we're hosting that in partnership with the library. So you can learn more on the library's website as well as on the Bristol Sustainability Committee's website. I'll be joined by my colleagues on the Energy Committee, and we'll be taking all your questions then and talking a lot more about solar and how it can benefit our community. Third, visit cleanenergynewhampshire.org to learn more about state policy issues and legislation that's going on in our state right now. They do an excellent job curating information on what's going on at the state level, and we absolutely need your support. New Hampshire has a long way to go at the state level in terms of how much we're supporting renewable energy as compared with our neighboring states. And so Clean Energy New Hampshire is a great way to learn more and to find out how we can continue to advocate for renewable energy here in New Hampshire. I hope this was an informative primer on solar energy, and I look forward to chatting with you more, hopefully at the Sustainability Fair and at our upcoming community forum on October 26th. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to speaking more soon.